Pat Bradley from the SEC Network joining us here on the program. Pat, good morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, good. How you guys doing?
Wonderful, man. My question for you is a simple one. Have you figured out this Texas A&M team yet, this basketball team? Logan Lee was just on a moment ago, and he's a former player. He played for Buzz before when he was an assistant for Billy Gillespie, and his thought was like, this is kind of what Buzz does. He kind of figures out his team as the year goes on. Is that what you're seeing from this A&M team?
Yeah, for sure. I think, going into the season, they obviously, picked to be in the mix to win the SEC, and a lot of that had to do with the returners. You don't have the luxury of bringing back as many guys that played meaningful minutes as Texas A&M. Now, the issue with Julius Marble, what's going on with that? You guys know what's going on? Is he coming back, or is it done deal? I haven't gotten any word.
I don't think he's coming back. It's a university issue, so I don't think he will come back. But at this point, you can't really count on it.
Right. Okay. Well, obviously he was a big piece of the puzzle. But you bring back Wade Taylor, obviously preseason SEC Player of the Year, and Coleman, Radford, who I know a little injury early on. So you bring back a good core nucleus to work with, like guys you can depend on. And, one of the things I said around Christmas time was, the hopes for this team was to find balanced scoring. And, Wade Taylor, as great as he is, putting up, 40 and big, just on the road, at home, whatever it is, that at some point someone, there's going to be other guys that are going to have to step up and give something in the scoring column because he just does so much. But they're just so well coached. And I think, Coach Williams has got so many things, whether it's defensive, he switches up his defense just enough to put the offense on their heels, to slow them down, to get it going at their pace. So I think those little things, can keep them in every game. And the fact that, listen, when you're not making shots, what else can you do? And they can go and get a couple offensive rebounds and stick back better than anyone in the country. So, I think they're in great shape right now.
Talking to Pat Bradley here on TexAgs Radio. You mentioned Wade Taylor. He's had some huge moments this year, as we've come to expect. He had a lot of accolades coming into the season. Do you think he's lived up to those accolades, even with some of the shooting slumps that he had early on? It seems like he's kind of found his rhythm once again.
Oh, there's no doubt. And the reason why he's considered the SEC Player of the Year is because there's not another guy in the SEC that affects more of the game than him. You'll have, for instance, the kid Dalton Connect is a heck of a player at Tennessee. He's a great scorer. But you don't have any. Wade Taylor is number 2 in scoring, number 7 in assists, number 3 in steals. He just has an impact on every part of the game. And that. There's not another player. You look at Mark Sears at Alabama, who's similar because he can score, and what he's done this year has facilitated a lot more for that offense. But that's why Wade Taylor is unique, because he's a setup man, he's a scorer, he's a defender, and that's really what separates him. So you can get caught up in the stats, but it's really his presence on the floor of orchestrating everything that's the most important.
Pat, how close do you think the second tier of the SEC is this year? Like, obviously you got your top dogs, and then you got just a few teams right there in the middle. They're in striking distance, and they're all fighting for that second tier spot, if you will. Yeah,
it is, and it's going to be a fun SEC tournament. It really is going to be an exciting SEC tournament. Because you have Tennessee, obviously another veteran team coming back. A&M is sort of, I know there was maybe a little bit of bumps, but I think they're trending back towards the top of the SEC, along with Kentucky with all that talent. And then you got, we got projected 8 or 9 teams in the SEC tournament. So, you look at Mississippi State, another veteran team. Any one of these guys, it looks like Tennessee, I think, is going to maybe emerge with Auburn as well. That's another veteran team. You put them right at the top. Auburn, I got them in Mississippi State on Saturday. Auburn's a heck of a team. So I think it's going to be a mess. Who emerges out of that? good luck. I mean, that's it. It could be anybody. I feel like, Vandy, Arkansas, unfortunately, is on the slide. So, those two teams have got to, they got to pick it up here before time runs out.
Speaking of Arkansas, your former team, just outside of the A&M game, what's been the biggest issue?
And they've struggled to find somebody who they transfer portal. They brought in a lot of guys, in much like a lot of coaches did, that hit the portal hard over the season. They tried to bring in what their weakness was. Last year didn't have a lot of shooters. They didn't have a lot of straight scorers. So Coach Musk brings in about 3-4 guys who, were their team's leading scorer off the previous season. But what they lacked was, really a lead guard, somebody that set them up. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember Anthony Black. As a freshman, kids, he was that ideal guy. We just talked about Wade Taylor. You look at Tennessee with Zakai Ziegler and even the kid Vescovi plays some point guard. So, I think that's been the biggest issue with Arkansas. Has been so much one-on-one, and that's just, the kind of DNA. I don't think they're unselfish guys. I just think they don't have anybody, point guard, a true lead guard to facilitate their offense and get them going.
Pat, I really appreciate your time here on the program. Look forward to seeing you there on the SEC Network and ESPN. Hope to do it again, all right?
All right, fellas, anytime, man. Talk to you soon.